Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Okay, I wanted to first start with the newspaper. For example, yesterday's newspaper had AI can't get common sense. This is the editorial. AI can't get common sense. This is a Max Bennett has a fascinating thesis in a brief history of intelligence why the evolution of the brain holds the key to the future of AI. तो वो कहता है कि कैसे हमने मिलियन ईयर्स में आपने सीखा जो हम आप सोच रहे हैं वॉट एवर वी आर डूइंग इट हैज टेकन ऑलमोस्ट मिलियन ईयर्स फॉर अस टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट वी आर डूइंग टुडे so all these things required so many years so AI cannot progress so fast but I take it otherwise AI, he says, Bennett argues, current AI has achieved breakthrough in steering and reinforcement learning, but struggles with simulating, mentalizing, and languages. अब लैंग्वेज में जितनी लैंग्वेज है देखो इवन सोफिया नोज 30 languages she says and robo knows all the languages what can do that so this, if you read this article, this is in Times of India of 25th October. This is AI can't get common sense. You will also understand that AI has progressed a lot, and that's what now all over the world people are progressing very fast, so that we can do that wonderful work with AI. That's why I always tell MCA student as well as BCA student that please do some project and bring AI into the project. Uh, One of my earlier student, she is now faculty in our BCA program. She did the project with me on AI, and now she is doing PhD with Indraprasth University on AI. So that's what a lot of things. Either you build a robo, or you do neural network, or you do deep learning, or you do simulation, or you do anything related to AI because today AI has become viral and it is being used for every process and all that. So that is what I'll be talking next time also. Okay, so now let's go to the PPT regression. Did we do regression earlier? Let me repeat this. What is regression? Regression is supervised learning and task because हम ये कि big data और AI में similarity आ रही है उसमें भी regression करते हैं इसमें भी regression कर रहे हैं machine learning इसमें भी हो रहा है उसमें भी हो रहा है so regression is a supervised learning task where the goal is to predict a continuous numeric output तो इसमें क्या होता है कि एक ये देखो ऐसे ऐसे regression है ऐसे regression है so these are the regression there so this is you use the data and make the regression and from there you can use it for prediction purposes what is getting future there and all that so this model you will use single model or ensemble model so ensemble की output आपने देखा था कैसे combine करते हैं it models the relationship between one or more input features, independent variable and numeric targets dependent variable. So y and x का हो जाता है. Regression find a function offer approximate by a curve of or line that best fits the data points in terms of some error criteria. अब उसमें error देते हैं इसमें error इससे ज़्यादा नहीं होना चाहिए. Prediction house price आपने अगर हाउस प्राइस देख रहा है कि एरिया कौन सा है साइज कितना है क्या क्या फैसिलिटीज है और रूम कितने हैं बाथरूम कितने हैं क्या क्या फैसिलिटीज यू हैव टू सी सराउंडिंग एरिया कैसा है सो दैट विल आल्सो डिफाइन द प्राइस ऑफ द हाउस सिंपल लीनियर रिग्रेशन तो स्ट्रेट लाइन ही आ जाता है y is equal to a plus bx plus e so that I think a intercept value of y when x is equal to 0 b is the slope and e is the error then you have a curve this is a y is equal to b1 x1 plus b2 x2 and plus b2 x3 b3 b and xn plus an error So that's it. And this is the curve which is x square. B A plus B1x plus B2x square type of curve is there. Key concept in regression analysis: dependent versus independent variable. Because dependent variable is y, independent variable is x. So on that basis, it is calculated. Coefficient of determination, the R square, the proportion of variance in y explained by the model range from 0 to 1, higher, better. That's it. So outliers, multicollinearity, all these things are seen into this that we did yesterday. So this is the sport vector regression. We did sport vector machine. This is sport vector regression. So that's what is given there. Now, this is the example linear regression. Height of the children are related to the height of the parents. So that's what is the given here. Uses of regression बिजनेस के लिए यूज होती है, इंजीनियरिंग साइंस के लिए यूज होती है, इकोनॉमिक्स और मेडिसिन के रिलेटेड डोजेज ऑफ ड्रग टू ब्लड प्रेशर रिडक्शन एटसेट्रा, सब हर की चीज के लिए रिग्रेशन बहुत यूजफुल है. अब यूनिट 12 में आ जाइए. न्यूरल नेटवर्क एंड डीप लर्निंग. दिस इज अ न्यूरल नेट. This is deep learning. This is neurons which are there in the human being, and it's a deep learning. This is the neuron in the human being. So that's what is being simulated in the artificial neural network में simulate होते हैं. ये human में neuron, we have billions of neuron. कहीं भी थोड़ा सा भी चोट लगती है, फटाफट ब्रेन में प्रोसेस पहुंच जाता है, वहां चोट लगी है. So you know what where and what has happened and all that. So neural networks are a branch of AI/ML. AI as machine learning, particularly suited for learning complex non-linear relationship. तो देखो क्या रिलेशन है. पाँव में छोटी चोट लगी या बाजू में छोटी चोट लगी, फौरन ब्रेन पर पहुंच जाती है. इसी तरह न्यूरल नेटवर्क में यही प्रोसेस शुरू होता है. Neuron, there are nodes, basic processing elements that receive the input, apply weight, sum them up and pass through an activation. So जैसे हमारे होता है बॉडी में, जब कोई चोट लगती है या कुछ कोई खुजलन करता है या कोई हंसाने की कोशिश करता है, तो इमीडिएटली रिस्पॉन्स आ जाता है. सो दैट्स इट. बेसिक प्रोसेसिंग एलिमेंट that receives input, apply weights, apply some weighting function, and sum up, and that's there. So weights and bias parameters that are learned during training to capture pattern in data. Layers क्या है? Input layer, receive feature, hidden layers. इसमें न्यूरल नेट में इनर लेयर होती है, इनपुट लेयर, and then hidden layer, then output layer. So produce the prediction. एक्टिवेशन फिक्शन, नॉन लीनियर फंक्शन, सिग्मॉइड यूज होता है. तो REL यूज होता है, 10 यूज होता है. दैट इंट्रोड्यूसेस नॉन लीनियरिटी टू द नेटवर्क. सो ये जो है, ये नेटवर्क, कहाँ नेटवर्क, सेल न्यूक्लिया, ये these are the biological term, these are the artificial neuron. This is cell neuron. इसमें नोड है, इसमें डेंड्राइट है, इसमें इनपुट है, सनाइप है, वेट है, एक्शन है, आउटपुट है. This is the simple relationship between the, this is the neural network, this is the actual human being neural network. ये है, these are the hidden surfaces, hidden layers, and this is the input layer, this is the output layer. So X are the input layer, Y's are the output layer, S1, S2, S3, S4, S4, S6 are the hidden layer. All these are well connected, and weighting function से sigmoid से सारा होता है. लेकिन you see the input, जब ट्रेनिंग देते हैं, हम ट्रेनिंग डेटा देते हैं, तो सैंपल डेटा कलेक्ट करते हैं. सैंपल डेटा से पहले X1, X2 इनपुट लेयर देते हैं. देन वी गो टू दी वेट फंक्शन लगा के, उस पर वेट लगा के, उस पर ये S1, S2 कैलकुलेट करते हैं, फिर S3, S4, देन वी कैलकुलेट Y1, Y2. सो दैट्स दी. अगर इनपुट से आउटपुट सेम आ जाता है, जस्ट अप टू द मार्जिन ऑफ एक्यूरेसी आ जाता है, देन यू स्टॉप. अदरवाइज यू गो बैक अगेन. अगर आउटपुट ज्यादा बन रहा है तो यू गो बैक, नेगेटिव करो. अगर कम बन रहा है तो गो टू पॉजिटिव. सो दैट टाइप ऑफ थिंग. When it, so this is the what in a Feed forward network, also called multi-layer perception. The information moves in one direction from input to hidden layer and then to output with no cycle. Each layer neuron take input from the previous layer and send the output to the next layer. When such a network has multiple hidden layers, it can capture hierarchical patterns and data. Example, in image recognition, early layers might detect edges, middle layer combine edges into shape, and later layer detect whole object. So that's what happens with this. Is it clear? This is the neural network. Then training neural network, backward propagation, forward propagation, backward propagation. Forward passages take an input, propagate it through the network layer by layer to produce an output. Then backward passages calculate how the error depends upon each weight using the chain rule of the calculus. Then measure the error of the output by comparing to the true targets and adjust each weight slightly in the direction that reduces the error gradient descent. So that's a repeat for many epochs, passes through the data set until the network converges or reaches satisfactory performance. It may not come as zero, but it should come to the satisfactory performance that it is good enough for the performance. For example, medicine के लिए it is good enough, this is medicine is good enough. अगर ये 99% 95% एक्यूरेट रहती है, अगर इसी तरह अगर ऑटो कार में डालना है, all these things are there so that things are becoming properly balanced, so that output is not too much out of the actual output. This is deep learning or advanced neural net. ये देखिए CNN, RNN and all these things. So deep learning refers to network with many layers, which because feasible with more data and computational power. Specialized deep architecture include convolutional neural network for images and grid-like data, recurrent neural network (RNN) for for sequential data, and autoencoder for dimensional reduction and feature learning. So generative adversarial network (GAN) for generating new data simple. So these are the GAN, RNN, all these are used in the various networks. So that helps the advanced neural nets and the deep learning. So it goes to deep learning process because neural network itself is a deep learning, but it becomes when you have more connectivity of this, it becomes deep learning. XOR problem and hidden layer. So there's hidden layer and XOR problem, input, output. So this is the input is there, input 2, XOR output is 0, 1, 1, whereas a single layer perception cannot model XOR, not linearly expandable. So single layer cannot expand this and all that. So however, a network with a hidden layer of even just 2 neurons can solve the problem. So with even 2 layers, जो hidden surface है, उससे output proper आ जाता है. That's what even though अगर hidden layer 2 neuron है, even that helps in getting the proper answer. Advantages and challenges of neural network. Advantages क्या है? Can approximate complex function and interaction, often achieve higher accuracy with sufficient data, automatically learn features from new data, raw data. Challenges require large data set for training, computationally intensive, lot time लगता है, लेकिन आज सारे बने बने प्रोग्राम अवेलेबल हैं. Prone to overfitting if too large. Training can be tricky, vanishing gradient, etc., etc. So all these are the. So now comes unit 13. We'll do up to unit 13, and 14, 15, 16 we'll do next time. Feature selection and extraction. So how do you select the features? That's what you see the figures. Here, these are the dimensionality and the curse of the dimensionality. Your dimension का कर्स क्या है कि अगर डायमेंशन हाई डायमेंशन होगा उसका क्या प्रॉब्लम है, लो डायमेंशन होगा उसका क्या प्रॉब्लम है. In machine learning, they define an input by n-dimensional space. High dimension can pose problem. Data becomes sparse as dimension increase. Distance become less meaningful. Models risk overfitting. Computation becomes inefficient. अगर हाई डिमेंशन का हो, एन डिमेंशन का हो तो बहुत डिफिकल्ट हो जाता है. अगर दो डिमेंशन का हो तो ठीक है, एक डिमेंशन का तो और भी अच्छा है. Many features might be irrelevant or redundant, contributing little to predictive power, but adding noise and complexity. Example, in a dataset predicting implies salaries, a feature like cell phone number is irrelevant and could safely be removed. अगर आप देखिए किसी के पास 1 लाख रुपए का सेल फोन है तो उसकी सैलरी जरूरी नहीं ज्यादा होगी. मे बी he has got a donation or he has got a friend who has given him, he has got the award for this, all these things. So phone is not a criteria for taking how much is the salary of the person. So और उसके हस्बैंड ने दिया होगा, उसकी वाइफ ने दिया होगा, something like that. Dimensionally reduction, the process of reducing the number of features while preserving as much important information as possible. Benefit includes improved model performance, less overfitting, faster computation, easier understanding of the data. These are two primary approaches. Feature selection, select a subset of original feature. Feature extraction, create new feature by transferring original. So extraction and selection and extraction, these are the two features which are important. Feature selection method, filter method, wrapper method, embedded method. Now you can see filter method, select feature by ranking them using statistical criteria independent of any machine learning algorithm. Example, correlation with the targets, chi-square test, mutual information, fast but may ignore feature detection. Wrapper method, select features of training and evaluating a model on different feature subsets. Example, forward selection, backward elimination. Can find feature interaction but computationally expensive. Embedded method, perform feature selection as part of the model training process. Example, lasso, regularization, decision tree feature important, efficient because they integrate selection with model fitting. So these are the three different methods which are discussed in the advantage and disadvantage are being discussed here. Forward feature selection example, because forward feature, this is the forward one. Evaluate each feature individually, select the feature with best performance, try each remaining feature in combination with selected feature, add the feature that improve performance most, repeat until no significant deaths. Example of predicting fitness level with feature like calories burnt, gender, play, sports, forward selection might first pick calories burnt, 87% agree, then add play, sports for further. So healthy side के लिए you should be having some play, you should be having some game, you should be having yoga, you should be having walk, all type of things are important. अब ये जो है some players overdo it and they die because there is a limit up to which you could do it. You couldn't overdo this. Feature extraction method, principal component analysis. So that you should know what is principal component analysis. This is standardized data, computer covariate matrix, find eigenvalues and eigenvectors, sort by eigenvalues, project data onto top K eigenvector. The principal component analysis is useful where data has many dimensions and for deciding how many components to keep, often enough to explain 95% of variance. So 95% of variance is good enough. So these are more feature extraction, linear discriminant analysis, singular value decomposition, SVD, LDA, linear discriminant analysis that you can go through PCA, LDA, SBD. Email classification, weather variable. So many features, words in email. This, what you can say, this is a price, this is win, dimensional reduction could merge information, then spam can be made and all that. So that type of thing. So the selection of spam from the actual mails and all these things. Weather variable, the humidity and rainfall variable might be highly correlated. Features extraction could combine them into one underlying witness factor, effectively reducing dimension by one. So merits and limitation of dimensional reduction. The merits देख लीजिए, reduces overfitting risk, improves trading speed and memory usage, removes irrelevant features, help visualization, mitigate the curse of the dimensionality. Then limitation, potential loss of information, might remove signal along with noise, because signal is important but noise is not. लेकिन अगर noise remove कर रहे हो, कहीं signal भी remove नहीं हो रहा, that what we have to see. Unsupervised method don't consider the target. Choosing optimal number of components features, that's important. I think that's the last. Uh, shall we do association rule also today, or we leave it for next time? Okay? Is that okay, or we do association rule? Because there are 16 units, so we will leave 3 units for the next time, and we do up to 13 units from the book. Is that okay?
Okay, sure, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay. All right. So relax for a few minutes. अगर इसमें कोई डाउट है up to unit 13, इसमें कुछ डाउट है तो बताइए. Shall I repeat something? Any doubt? Dimensionality पर feature selection, advantage and challenge of this. अगर 2 पॉइंट मिनिमम हो तो अच्छा है. अगर आउटपुट हिडन सरफेस में, then something deep learning advanced network, brain neural network, backward propagation, flow of information with 2 hidden layers and all that. There can be more hidden layers also. So that then weighting function up and down, that's reducing or increasing, that's important. Component of neural network, that's this, and then we did regression equation, polynomial regression. So that type of thing we did. So ये तो हमने कर लिया है. Unit 14 associated recovery. अरे यूनिट ओनली 14 तक है, 16 तक होना चाहिए. ये तो सिर्फ 14 ही है. So इसमें PPT 15, 16 का बनाया नहीं. I think that is a programming lot is there. So that is by it's not R programming, it's Python. I think that we'll see that. तो उसमें एक ही कल रह जाएगा. Next time we'll do only associate rule. Okay. So I would like you to go to the website of Times of India and see in the editorial on the left-hand side, last one, AI can't get common sense, and then Max Bennett's book you can see, if you can get from online Max Bennett book and see that what he says, but don't believe everything what he says, but take something and then redo it. That's the type of thing which he has written in the thesis. You are trying to change your outlook, how the things are behaving in them. So that type of thing is important. So that's it. And relax for 10 minutes, then we go for book. Okay? Any question? No question. Yes or no?
No, sir.
Okay. Then relax for 10 minutes, then we come back for book. All
Okay,
right?
sir.
No.
Okay, sir.
So are you ready for the regression? It's again
Yes, sir.
repetition of what is from PPT. So regression, introduction, objective regression algorithm, linear regression, polynomial regression, support vector regression. Exactly what we did in the big data. There is a very similarity of both the big data and this, because machine learning is the main thing which is used for big data. So that's where all these things are required. So you know who started regression was the British biologist Galton, who started regression and all that too. We were able to study this and all that, and he did y is equal to mx plus c. So from there, the regression come parent, children, height, child, and all that. That's where he started working for this. So this is what is the relationship we did yesterday also. So find the relationship, strength of the relationship, formation of relationship, prediction, another independent variable. अगर another independent variable ले लेंगे x1 x2 ले लेंगे तो उसमें क्या होता है कि सपोजिंग पेरेंट्स की हाइट लेनी है तो बच्चे की हाइट के लिए उसमें उसका जेनेटिक भी ले लो, जाओ उसमें ग्रैंडफादर का भी ले लो कि ग्रैंडफादर का भी इफेक्ट हो सकता है. So all these things are there. So uses of regression is important where multiple variables can be also there. अगर x1 ही है तो पेरेंट्स ही लिए है, मदर और फादर दोनों की हाइट ली है. अगर ग्रैंडफादर मदर और ग्रैंड मदर की भी लेनी है तो उसको भी लिया जा सकता है. So that type of thing. Okay, and example of regression relationship between uploading picture on Facebook page and number of likes by friends. एक पिक्चर को बहुत लोगों ने लाइक करा. That's why now, for example, Mr. Narendra Modi is the most popular leader of the world. He is the maximum following from the all over the world. Even American president is the less followers than even the richest person has less followers than Narendra Modi and all that. Relation between average food intake and weight gain. अगर कोई फूड ज्यादा लेता है उससे वेट बढ़ता है. अब देखिए वो फिल्म एक्टर जो है, एक किसी मूवी के लिए उनको वेट बढ़ाना होता है, हाइट बढ़ानी, मोटे होना होता है. दे डू ऑल टाइप ऑफ taking vitamins, taking all type of drugs and all these things, and then they do it. And पतले होना होता है तब भी करते हैं. So all these things are there. Weight gain, height, तो हाइट तो खैर गेन नहीं कर सकते. हाइट तो शूज पहन के गेन कर सकते हैं कि शूज में बहुत से बड़े ब्लैडर डाल लें, so that become relationship between the average food makes and weight gain. Relationship between the number of hours studied and marked. देखिए वो एक कहता है कि एक लड़का तो one student, लड़का हो या लड़की हो, has been coming regularly to the institution, whereas one person was not regular but scored higher marks, but he was studying better at home rather than at the school. So whatever school was teaching, he was trying to get copies from somebody and do it all the thing. But he had some other work to do and all that. So marks are not related to coming to attend the classes, but it is more to study. That's important. Relationship between the product consumption by increasing the product price. Agar, for example, this Diwali, the expenditure have been much more because एक तो GST कम हुआ, एक लोगों की कुछ लोगों की गवर्नमेंट में तनख्वाह बढ़ी, so people spent a lot of money. So they said now कारें सस्ती हो गई है तो कारें खरीद लो, मोटर बाइक सस्ता हो गया, मोटर बाइक खरीद लो. तो टीवी सस्ते हो गए, टीवी खरीद लो. So that type of thing. तो दिवाली में वैसे भी खरीदते हैं. So terminology used regression as a dependent variable in independent variable. Y is dependent variable, X is independent variable. So outlier is a value which affect our output. Very high value or very low values will affect the result. In case of regression, first we have to remove the outlier. अगर कोई डेटा में बहुत ही एक्सट्रीम वैल्यू हो, सम एक पेरेंट्स का बच्चा 7 फीट 7.5 फीट हो गया है, बाकी बच्चे छोटे हैं, तो उस 7.5 फीट वाले को रिमूव कर दो. डोंट यूज दैट एज ए क्राइटेरिया दैट इन पेरेंट्स का ये भी बच्चा हुआ है. अगर खलील है जो, अब उसके पेरेंट्स तो इतने लंबे नहीं थे, लेकिन ये बहुत लंबा हो गया. इट मस्ट बी सम प्रॉब्लम सो दैट इट बिकेम वेरी टॉल. Undertaking and overfitting. See, overfitting results when our machine learning models work well with the training data set, but it doesn't work well with the test data. So, क्या problem होगी? So, underlying results when our data set doesn't perform well even with our training data set. So that's type of, that means our data has जिससे ट्रेनिंग सेट से मॉडल बनाया है, और ये डेटा जो है they are different, they are not of the same sample. So this is the type of the objective understanding regression algorithm, linear regression, polynomial regression, sport bracket regression. ये सारी चारों चीजें करते हैं. That's what we have talked already. Regression algorithm, following are various types of regression algorithm. वो देखिए, linear regression, multiple linear regression, logistic regression, polynomial regression, then ecological regression, ridge regression, lasso regression. ये सारी regression का पढ़ लोगे तो इससे linear regression algorithm comes into existence when there is only one independent variable. So, and multiple linear when there is only one dependent variable and more than one independent variable, that is x1, x2, x3, and so on. So, logistic regression is a logistic regression algorithm dependent variable in binary in nature, false and true में आ जाता है. This algorithm is generally used under cases like testing of the medicines to detect the bank fraud, etc. But already discussed the concept of logistic regression in unit number 10. Polynomial regression is described with the help of a polynomial equation. Y is equal to a plus bx1 plus b2 x square and so on and so forth. X square and x this. So ecological regression algorithm is used when group data belongs to group. Thus, data is divided into different groups and regression is performed on different groups. Ecological regression is mostly used in political research, for example, party boards, etc. So, it may from the age, young people, middle age people, old people. Then you have the nation, that is कौन सी community से belong करता है, backward community से या forward community से. All these things are important for voting and all that. So ridge regression, it is a type of regression type of regression when data variables are highly correlated. Ridge regression is used using some constraint or regression coefficient. It is used to reduce the error and lower the bias, mostly used in feature selection. Then lasso regression is least absolute shrinkage and selection operator regression algorithm. A penalty is assigned the coefficient. Lasso regression uses shrinkage techniques where data values are shrunk towards the mean value. So these are the logic regression, Bayesian regression, quantile regression. ये भी देख लीजिए. In logic regression, predictable variables and response variable both are binary in nature. Binary 0, 1 में nature. Both classification. Bayesian regression में algorithm is based on Bayesian statistics. Random variables are used as a parameter to estimate. In this algorithm, if the data is absent, then some prior data is taken as an input. So, because data नहीं है, तो कुछ को पुराना 200 100 साल पहले 20 साल कहीं भी डेटा कोई है, उसको और डेटा आप फर्जी बना लीजिए. Quantile data regression, this is used when the boundary of the quantile is of interest. The boundary value interest में हो. Whosoever weight and underweight is considered for the health analysis is considered as an. अब देखिए जैसे हमारा कोविड आया था, देयर वाज नो कोविड अर्लियर, nobody knew what is कोविड, लेकिन कोविड के देखिए मेडिसिन बना दी इंडिया ने, इंडिया बना के सारी दुनिया 200 कंट्री को दी, एंड इंडिया सेव्ड so many people because of the multiple doses of the. So that's again Cox regression. Cox regression algorithm is used when output of a variable depends on set of independent variable. Example: patient's survival after surgery, patient survival after taking COVID injection, so on, so forth. So that you can say. So now it is explained linear regression क्या है, इसके लिए ये linear regression हो गया. So this is linear regression with all the points on other sides, and this is the linear regression. It gives the slope and everything. Then this is the positive linear relationship. This is negative linear relationship. This is बढ़ता जा रहा है. This is घटता जा रहा है. This is again x1, y1, x2, y2. This is again the area of this regression है. Data set है, learning algorithm है, area of land, hypothesis. This is a house की price कितनी है, जब कुछ भी करना है, तो so you can predict. Following graph draws the linear relationship between x and y. So you can just get the price of the house, or the linear regression. You least square method उसमें apply करते हैं. So least square method में ये सारा that you know about it. This is the least square method applied. And mean absolute error calculate करते हैं, जहाँ state true or false, ये binary relationship आ जाता है, linear regression. Polynomial regression algorithm ये देखो polynomial regression है. So that's the type of thing. Whereas this was on the left hand side is a linear regression, this is a polynomial regression. ये मैट्रिक्स फॉर्म में आ जाता है. This is all the equations for this. And then comes sport vector regression. हमने sport vector machine करा है. This is the sport vector regression है. Sport vector machine is used in solving both classification and regression problems. Consider a classification problem having two different categories as shown figure. These are the two different categories. देखो एक नीचे point है, एक ऊपर point है. This is the tube. This is the box which is free of that. So two categories are using a line between the two. There is a hyperplane between these two categories which will separate these two from each other. The hyperplane is used to divide the points into different categories lying opposite to the line. Other than hyperplane, there are two marginal lines opposite to the hyperplane at a distance apart from the hyperplane. These two marginal lines are certain distance from the parallel to the hyperplane. There are two parallel lines at marginal distance from the hyperplane. Thus, we can say there are three hyperplanes, that is, two lines at marginal distance are also hyperplanes. So these are the things which are done. So ये सारा ये multiple dimension का हो जाता है. Consider the following graph, all the things you can see. ये भी this also become this, and this also is a three-dimensional space में डाल देते हैं, hyperplane डाल. These are the वही जो हमने करा था कि and और का करके करना है. Sport vector regression application used to solve supervised regression problem can be used in both linear and non-linear type of data. Prediction of fire in forest during weather change, prediction of electric power demand, So all these are important applications. So because जो फायर होती है और टेम्परेचर से जब बढ़ जाता है तो सम आपस में टकराने से जब किसी किसी स्पार्क हो जाता है देन फायर स्प्रेड्स इन फॉरेस्ट. So that covers up the chapter unit 11. या आंसर क्वेश्चन देख लीजिएगा. The neural network and deep learning. अभी हमने करा है deep learning and neural network. So that you can see deep learning work and all that. ये देखिए ये बायोलॉजिकल न्यूरॉन है और ये आर्टिफिशियल न्यूरॉन है. जो ही वही डेंड्रॉन इनपुट, cell nucleus is node, synapse is weight, and action is output. So that's where these are the this is the human neuron, this is the computer neuron, and this is the neural network. It's a hidden surface here, input layer and output layer. और आपको बताया था कि अगर इवन हिडन सरफेस में दो भी नोड हो, इवन दैट इज इंपॉर्टेंट बिकॉज विदाउट हिडन सरफेस उसका रिजल्ट ठीक नहीं आता. Overview of our artificial neural network, say interconnecting model of neurons, learning algorithm, all these things are important, which we discussed. This is the three neuron diagram. एक neuron, these are the input output, but we have told until unless you have hidden surface, तो उसमें error आने की possibility ज़्यादा हो जाती है. ये these are the for 3 input, the number of combination of 0 and 1 and 4 combination, so all these are there. Multi-layer feed forward neural network. This is feed forward. This is net input. This is activation function and output. Error वापस करते हैं. These are the weight W1, W0, W1, W2, Wn. This is the weight for 1 to xn. So this is the net input function and then activation function and output. So that's the neural vector with hidden layer. Neural vector with hidden layer. उसमें ये hidden layer आ गई थी. This is the hidden layer. This is the input layer. This is output. This is the hidden layer, input layer, output layer. These are all the neural network with different weights. W1, W1 square, this is all the W1. So you can सिग्मॉइड न्यूरॉन जो वेट देते हैं वो उसका बताया हुआ है कि सिग्मॉइड कैसे करते हैं, बैक प्रोपगेशन से कैसे करते हैं, फॉरवर्ड प्रोपगेशन से. ये सिग्मॉइड फंक्शंस, ये है सिग्मॉइड फंक्शन है. दिस इज सिग्मॉइड फंक्शन. सो दैट्स वेयर कैलकुलेशन इज डन. ये these are W plus delta W. So that's the type of thing which goes to the output layer. This is hidden layer. This is the input layer. This is W1 X1 plus bias. So that sigmoid function 0, this is 1 upon 1 plus e raised to power minus z. So this one is the one which is used there and all that. ये function है, sigmoid function ऐसे होती है. W1 X1 bias and all that. Z is the function. ये 6043862 digit 2 data set. ये सारा उसमें input layer, hidden layer and output layer. So that is neural network with 28 by 28 pixel. ये 28 ये है, 28 ये है. So this is different. बैक प्रोपगेशन एल्गोरिथम, फॉरवर्ड प्रोपगेशन, बैक प्रोपगेशन एल्गोरिथम भी ये होता है. कैलकुलेट द एरर, ट्रेनिंग, अपडेट द पैरामीटर, एरर minimum, update the parameter, training, and so on. Model is ready to make prediction. This is the error calculation. This is the minimum error यहाँ आता है. Minimum error is coming here. The increased weight, decreased weight. So यहाँ जो है, this is the minimum error. You take this as final. One does back propagation. से देखिए यहाँ से back propagation होता है. ये forward propagation होता है. Neural network example. Update W5. Feed forward network. ये देखिए forward network सारा होता है. Multiple classification. Neural pattern detected, node 1, node 2, and so on. All these has been discussed. Deep learning. Deep learning works. How deep learning works? Initially, there was a limitation of computer resources, and the concept of deep learning was not so popular. Once these resources were available, deep learning took the attention. So, what is deep learning versus machine learning? One of the popular AI technique available for processing big data is machine learning. For example, if a digital payment company was to find out the occurrence of fraud in the system, such a company might use machine learning tools. The used algorithm built on the machine learning algorithm will process all transactions on the digital platform, try to find out the pattern and mention the detection of anomalies by the pattern. देखिए अगर मैं रेगुलर इतने पैसे बैंक से निकाल रहा हूँ जो अपने अकाउंट से निकाल रहा हूँ देन इट्स रेगुलर. अगर एक दफा मैं डबल ट्रिपल पैसे निकाल रहा हूँ और फिर बाकी फिर स्लो करते हो दैट यू हैव टू सी दैट कि फ्रॉड तो नहीं हो रहा. चेक केयरफुली एंड ऑल दैट. So that type of thing with that. So deep learning example, for example, the fraud detection system mentioned above can be solved through deep learning. However, as the machine learning system starts working with the parameters such as transaction of dollar on account holder, sends and receive, the deep learning method can also use the same parameter, but it works on neural network. As we have mentioned earlier, each layer of the neural network takes the input from the previous layer. For example, the input layer has the parameters like sender, information, data from the social media, a credit score of the customer, using IP address and other, and pass the output to the next layer for decision making. The final layer, the output layer, decides whether fraud has been detected or not. Deep learning, a prevalent technology, is used across all major industries for various tasks, including decision making. Other examples may include commercial application for image recognition, application for recommendation system, and medical research tools for exploring this. So this is this finishes the 12. So feature selection and extraction. So we'll do up to 13 units and leave the 3 units for the next class so that we should have enough work for the next class also. Introduction, dimensionally reduction, feature selection, feature extraction, principal component analysis, lead, because you should know what is principal component analysis. So singular value decomposition, these are the way. ये क्यों गड़बड़ हो गया? हाँ, अब ठीक है. Input variables are no. Data sets are made up of numerous data columns, which are also referred to data attributes. So you can see that input variables and all these things is there, and you can read this. So डायमेंशन रिडक्शन यहाँ से ये है, दिस इज थ्री डायमेंशन, इसको ये बना दिया है, ये टू डायमेंशन बना दिया, इसको टू डायमेंशन बना दिया. So this is the, from three dimension it has been reduced to two dimensions here. So ये क्यों हो रहा है? Dimension reduction can be this by filter method, wrapper method, embedded method. We did it. So feature extraction, feature in this and all these, I think we did it, right? Filter method, wrapper method, embedded method. Did we do that? All right, we can in filter method choose features based on statistic instead of how well they perform in feature selection cross validation. User chooses metrics, irrelevant attributes are found, and recursive feature selection is done. Filter method can be either univariate, in which an ordered ranking list of the features is made to help choose the final subset of features, or multivariate, in which the relevance of all the features as a whole is evaluated to find features that are redundant. जो फालतू हो, redundant होगा, उनको निकाल देना है. Wrapper method, wrapper feature selection method looks at the choice of the set of feature as a search problem. Their quality is judged by preparing, evaluating, and comparing a set of features to other set of features. This method makes it easier to find possible interaction between the variables. Wrapper method focuses on subsets of features that will help improve the quality of the results from the clustering algorithm and used for the selection. Popular examples are borrow feature selection or the forward feature selection. So that's the wrapper method. Embedded method, feature selection approaches incorporate the features selection machine learning algorithm as an integral component. That's the type of thing. So forward feature interface selection, ये देखिए, selecting the best subset, generated set of all features, generated subset, learning algorithm, and then performance. So these are the yes, no features. You can see the table and all that, work it out. Feature extraction, the process of reducing the amount of a resource needed in describing large amount of data is called feature extraction. So that you can read. Feature extraction file, so you can say dimension reduction technique, principal component analysis, and Fisher linear discriminant analysis. These are principal component and Fisher linear dimensional LDA. This is the PC and LDA are important things. Principal component analysis क्या होता है? The Carl Pearson was the first person to come up with the plan. It is based on the idea that when data from a higher dimensional space is put into lower dimensional space, the lower dimensional space should have the most variation. In simple terms, principal component analysis is a way to get important variables in the form of components from a large set of variables in a data set. It tends to find the direction in which the data is most spread out. PC is more useful when you have data with three or more dimensions. ये देखिए, but this is three or more dimension. When applying the PCA method, the following are the primary steps that should be taken. Obtain the data set you need, calculate the mean of the vector, and deduct the mean of the given data from the total, complete the computation for the covariance matrix, determine the eigenvectors and eigenvalues and all that, creating features, vectors, and deciding which component would be the major one, and create a new data set by projecting the weight vectors there. So Meritot mentioned it helps to compress data, which reduces the amount of space needed to. अगर three dimensional को two dimensional हमने शुरू में जैसे बनाया था, that's what PCA does and all that. So you might lose some data. Should be that possible? You might lose some data. PCA fails when the mean and covariance are not enough to describe a data set. We don't know how many major parts we need to keep track of, but in practice, we follow some rules. So these are the basic steps taken and all that. अब LDA देख लेते हैं. Linear discriminant analysis LDA. इसका है, in most cases the application of logistic regression has been restricted to problems involving two classes of subject. On the other hand, the linear discriminant analysis is a linear classification method that is recommended to use when there are more than two classes. The algorithm for linear classification, known as logistic regression, is known for being both straightforward and robust. So binary class problem, unstable but with well-defined classes. So this is the, and understanding LDA model in order to simplify it. So you can read all these things. So that's important. LDA, now we will discuss how to use LDA to make prediction. LDA generates prediction by calculating the likelihood that each class will be given a fresh batch of data and then extrapolating from there. Extrapolate कर दीजिए. A forecast is created by selecting the output class that contains the events that are most likely to occur. The Bayes theorem is incorporated into the model in order to calculate the probabilistic involved, utilizing likelihood of these distances. That's the example. Mathematics is given p by x is equal to this and all that. You can see px is equal to nk. So that's the type of thing which LDA does. So problem with the classification, Gaussian information, these are, you can read that. That's a simple process. Okay. I think that should be enough for today. आज संडे है, कम काम करते हैं. नेक्स्ट टाइम विल, बिकॉज नेक्स्ट तुम्हारी 2 क्लासेस हैं. 2 क्लासों में एक तो पढ़ेंगे, दूसरे में विल टॉक अबाउट द प्रोजेक्ट्स. ब्रेड बटर मिल्क कुकी बटर ब्रेड सब जगह कस्टमर 1 कस्टमर 2 कस्टमर 3 तो उसको ऐसे ही लगाते हैं. तो इसी तरह ऑनियन पोटैटो एंड टमाटो आर टुगेदर. इसने बियर भी साथ लगाई है कि क्योंकि लोग बियर पीते हैं. सो दैट टाइप ऑफ थिंग्स है. ओके, यू कैन से दैट. All right. Is it enough? Yeah. This is a closed limit, closed frequent item, maximum frequent item. ये देखा जो बटर ब्रेड वगैरह का बनाया था उसी के. All right. Take it easy now. Relax. Okay? Any doubt?
No, sir.
ठीक है, पढ़ लोगे. चलिए घर में पढ़ लेना. Okay? All the best, son. Take it easy and enjoy your Sunday.